Here we are back to show you real estate today. Thanks for being with us. You can listen to us multiple venues. Jameson Realty's YouTube channel, Home Inspection Carolina's YouTube channel, 1110 99.3 radio.com. I'm Paul Jameson, your host here with Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina. We're talking real estate now. We've had our time to talk about other stuff, but it all's kind of related. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right. So, Preston, one of the things when you finally get the home under the contract and you're ready to high five, get things going, and that appointment comes for you all to do an inspection or for an inspector to come, what can homeowners do to mitigate some risk?
Oh, those dang home inspectors. Well, I got a top 10 list of things home inspectors are going to be looking for.
Okay.
The full list is on our website. And I've told this story before. You know how the list came about. I was helping my daughter study for a test one night, and she goes, "Daddy, isn't an inspection kind of like a test for the house?" And I said, "Yeah, it is." She said, "Do they know what to study?" And I said, "No, but they should." So we do have a study guide on homeinspectioncarolina.com. Click on the Realtor's Corner. And I think there's like 47 items. It's a printout. You can download it. But for the sake of radio and a short time frame, I picked the top 10.
All right. I love the top 10.
All right.
I can already see I'm going to be.
I'll just go down the list. I probably should do it.
Okay. So are you going to start with number 10 and work your way down?
Yeah, but it's not like some big funny thing. It really isn't.
Okay.
I wish, like the old Dave Letterman. So one of the most important, and I try to pick ones that are like the easiest to fix, can make the biggest impact, that sort of thing. Clean out your crawl space and out from underneath your deck, Paul. If there's any wood debris in there, and wood debris is also like insulation that's fallen down because that paper on the back of it is cardboard. Cardboard's made out of cellulose material.
WOOD.
Yeah, that's conducive for termites. And
yes, it is.
And underneath the deck, I can't tell you how many times people leave firewood or, an old pallet or something under there. And man, if it's got termites, it's going to trigger a termite treatment on the entire house. And Paul knows this, but for the sake of any listeners who might not have been through it, that's not cheap. It's not like spraying for ants or roaches. It's going to be around $1,000 probably, because there's a lot of drilling and trenching and just clean out from underneath that deck and underneath that crawl space.
Amen.
All right, so number 2 on the top 10, clean your HVAC, change your HVAC filters, all of them, and not only clean them, but if you're like me and like 99.9% of everybody, they're probably dirty too. The little grate that, they have a little door that opens and you change the filter, and then there's like a little, louvers. Clean those louvers because they get really dirty too. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people who can't get quite to where they are, see those dirty louvers, they think your filter's dirty. Just get a sponge or a paper towel, wipe it down, clean those filters. So simple to do.
If it's a wire brush, you got a bigger problem.
Exactly. And cheap too. I mean, the things are like 30 cents.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That's right.
Number 3.
You know something, but people don't understand, Preston, there's all these theories out there. Do I buy the fancy filters? Do I buy the cheap filters? How often do I change them? My philosophy is this, and love to hear your opinion. My philosophy is that that air coming in and out of there is like breathing. So it's kind of like a lung, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, unless you're really allergenic, I want a little more airflow. They have the hypoallergenic ones, and they cost a little bit more. And some people love these. If you're really hyperallergenic, the only thing is I think it costs a little more to run those because you're impeding the airflow a little bit. I actually like the medium ones. The real cheap ones, man, they're real thin, and it seems like a lot of dirt gets by them. And if you're wiping dirt on your, dusting a lot, then your filters aren't good enough. But sometimes, and I'll probably get some ugly emails from this, some of the super hyperallergenic ones, the only problem is think about these face filters. If you had on like 4 filters, how hard it would be you'd be really protected from virus, but might not be able to get the air in and out efficiently,
That's right.
especially if you went on a jog or something. I see these guys
Way to
jogging.
bring it to the COVID. Way to bring it to the corona,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I see people jogging with this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh.
my lungs hurt for you because you need more air when you're exercising. But anyway, sorry, didn't mean to bring it back to that. I like the medium filters.
I saw the one the other day where the guy had taken a coffee filter and strapped it to the front of his mouth.
Well,
I mean, golly.
well, those filters were hard to get there for a while, so you should see what we were using for hand sanitizer over here.
yeah. You can drink it or wipe your hands with it.
Man, either way, we
Either
got
way
you
it
covered. It's dual purpose. Dual purpose.
All right. What
All
else
right,
you got?
so let's go to number 3. Have you ever gone to go to all your faucets in your house and turn the water on? And if there's any of them that the water flows a little slow, I guarantee you it's that little screen. Each one of them has a little screen underneath, and sediment builds up. They call it an aerator. It's just a little screen, and you can unscrew it. It may be hard to see, but if you put your hand under there and your fingers start twisting, you'll probably get it off. And just take that thing out, scrub it with a little old toothbrush or something, and run the water backwards, put it back in there. It'll be fine. So simple, so easy to do. And then while you're there at each sink, do something else for me. That's number 7 or 8, is fill your sink basins up with water, right? Each one of your sinks in your bathroom, kitchen, put the plug or whatever it is, fill it up, then pull the plug and go underneath it and look at the drain line for any leaks. You want to fill it up because it puts back pressure on it and goes all the way back up the pipe. And if there's any leaks, it'll be easy and simple to fix and cheap. But you don't want this stuff on a home inspection report. And you don't want a home inspector to say, hey, they may have low water pressure. You better get the plumber out here. And then, oh, gosh, if it was something you could have fixed with a toothbrush, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we just had that happen. We
Did you
had
really?
Down the street, they had not a home inspection, but we had a water break line, and
Okay.
break down the street. And, there was muddy water like coming out of the faucet and stuff. And the toilet was like muddy. I mean, from dirt. And then the refrigerator thing, the water thing wasn't working right. It was like dripping out.
Right.
And it turned out that mud had clogged up that filter in the fridge, and we changed the filter and it worked fine. But we were getting ready to call a service guy for $100. And we probably need to take those, what did you call them, aerators, off of all our sinks, because it's probably got the same issue.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I mean, sometimes you do have low water pressure. If you've got it at every faucet and your hose bib outside, yeah, you might have a water pressure issue. But if it's isolated to one faucet or hose bib, then there's something wrong there. And 9 times out of 10, it's that aerator.
Yeah, unless you have teenagers at home, you always have blood.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Number 4, check the Freon lines on your AC unit. So what happens is, your air conditioner, you have 2 Freon line. One's big and one's small. And the big one is the gas line, which is cold. And you have pipe insulation on it. And Paul, what always happens is it always stretches a little bit or shrinks. And wherever it shrinks, and that cold metal is exposed, condensation's going to build up and it's going to drip, which almost always happens up in the attic. And you'll see a stain, but it's coming from the air conditioning condensation line. All you need to do is get some pipe insulation at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's like $2 for a 8-foot section. And you just put it on there, maybe put a zip tie or 2 on it, and it'll solve that problem. But just, real easy to fix. Check your Freon gas line, the big one, all the way from the expansion coil out to the compressor, and replace.
Right, and you can use the old one and tie it to your.
There you go. Yeah, By the way, the other thing that works great are those little noodles in the pool. Dual purpose for those.
That's
too.
right. Yeah, the noodles. Yeah,
that's it. That's very much what pipe insulation is like. Just a little bit more colorful. All right. Number 5. Check windows for cracks, reverse tension springs, and fogging. So basically, go to each one of your windows. Obviously, if it's cracked, and you should be able to open and close each window. Make sure, because if you hadn't opened and closed that window for a long time, painted shut, you don't want the home inspector to put that on their report. But just make sure it goes up and down. And sometimes if you go around it with a putty knife, you can free that up. And make sure that when you put it up, that it stays up. It should stay up on its own. Yeah. And lastly, if it's fogged, those got those 2 pieces of glass and the fog builds up, man, they're probably going to have to replace it. And one way you can tell is just see if you can mark your name or something on each side of the window to see if it's fogged. And if it's under 10 years old, it's under warranty. You can get that replaced.
Get them to replace it. That's awesome. Well, we've come into a break. We'll be right back.
Sorry.
Talk about real life. TJ said, I heard something in the background.
It's like, I don't know what it is, but whenever I get on a Zoom or a podcast, the dog wants to bark, the mom and daughter want to argue about their schoolwork, or the neighbor wants to run the blower. It'll be quiet the rest of the day.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny, man.
I need a bunker, man.
Need a man cave.
I do. But awesome. I'm good. Sorry.
That's so funny, man. I love that.
The next
All
show,
right, so we're going to pick up. What's that, Preston?
The next show, I'm coming into the studio.
All right, so we're going to pick up at what, number 6, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Hang on here. Okay, go ahead. Welcome back, friends. The Show You Real Estate Today. We're so glad you're with us on this Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope you are warm, safe, and happily distance wherever you are and get a haircut right now. Because I know we're into the first 24 hours of haircuts. So yay for that. Goodbye, Floby. Hello, barber beautician. So,
nice.
So we welcome the beauticians back to the world, and you have been missed by us all. My eyebrows will attest to that.
Yeah, whoever thought you could buy pot legally, but you'd have to be in a back alley to get a haircut. But
that's exactly I digress. Right. Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, I know that's or you could vape.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm here with Preston Santa with Home Inspection Carolina. I'm Paul Jameson, your host to Show You Real Estate Today. Thanks for sharing your Saturday with us. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about how to get a cleaner home inspection report. And, we talked about cleaning the area around your deck and getting the wood and things that are making contact with the soil, changing the HVAC filter, putting more insulation on the Freon lines, checking the windows for cracks and fogging on the inside, that seal is busted. What's next?
Number 6 would be the drainage around your house. Walk around your house and think like the rain. Where does the water go? And obviously water follows the path of least resistance. So ideally, you want the water when it comes off the roof or wherever it's coming from, side of your house, draining away. If for whatever reason the drainage isn't planing away from your house, like it's coming towards your house or underneath your crawl space, that's not good. You need to fix that up. You need to do some grading, get some soil in there, regrade it. But your property should fall away, like 1 inch for every 10 inch, something like that. Now I get that some houses are on the side of a hill, and that's okay. That's okay. More than likely, you probably have some sort of French drain or swell. If you've ever seen a property on the side of a house, if you really look at the front yard, they usually grade it where there's a swell to kind of catch it and run around. But the real telltale sign if you're in a crawl space is you look under that crawl, and like now, if it wasn't wet under there after it's been raining for 3 straight days, you've got pretty good drainage. But if you don't, you're going to need to do maybe some grading or put in a French drain. But get that water away from your foundation. Long term, you ever seen a sinkhole in the road, Paul?
Yes,
you don't want
I have.
You don't want a sinkhole under your house, and that's what'll happen if you don't have good drainage over a long period of time.
There's a lot of houses, Preston, that don't have gutters.
Yeah,
and so that drainage falling off that roof kind of comes down alongside the house, and after time, it erodes the soil, and the house begins to settle more.
Yeah. Gutters aren't required. I got mixed feelings about it. It depends on how they set it up. I like gutters, obviously. Sometimes they can do just as long as the eave goes well out beyond the foundation, you're okay. I've got a rental house that they look just like the little houses on Monopoly where the edge of the roof stops at the end of the house. It's got to have gutters. It's really a poor design because if it leaks, it goes right down the wall. But you're right. You just got to get that water away from your footer, because if it constantly gets under that footer, it's going to erode and the footer is going to drop and you're going to get cracking and your windows and doors are going to not open and close, and that's not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. Long-term effects. And
then you're going to have to call some people who I think sponsor the show. So there's a bunch of foundation folks. I don't know exactly. I've heard it, but I can't off the top of my head. I don't know. But you're going to have to call some sort of foundation folk, and it's usually not a cheap phone call.
Dry Pro. You call Dry Pro.
It's not a cheap phone call. I'm going to tell you that.
That's right. What else we got? The sinks. Fill the sinks. Huh?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that earlier. So home inspectors are going to come in and fill all your basins full of water and then pull the plug so that they get the full effect of the water, back. Because a lot of times you just run water down the sink. It's going down as fast as it drains, but it never kind of backs up and puts a little pressure on the sink. It should be able to handle the pressure of a full basin draining. Do that and get underneath, open the cabinet underneath and get under there with a flashlight and look all over the place for leaks. And if there is a leak, the good news is it's usually pretty easy to fix. And it's going to be cheaper for you to fix it if you're a little bit handy than, them getting a plumber out there. It's going to be expensive.
It will certainly be that. Absolutely. What else we got?
Let's see. Number 8, check the roof for any missing shingles or nail pops. Nail pops happen a lot, and it's like where you see the little, the shingle popped up just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And what happens is so the nail goes through the shingle, through the sheathing into the wood, and the wood expands and contracts over the seasons, and sometimes it'll push that nail back out a little bit. And when it does, it separates the shingles in that tar strip. The tar strip's what seals it, when it gets hot. So it can be susceptible if you get high winds to yank your shingles off. So you need to nail it back down. But very important, don't just go up there with a hammer on your shingle and hit it. That would be really bad. What you want to do is try to lift that tab up a little bit if you can. Don't hit on top of the tab. And you really want either a padded hammer or take like a 2x4 with a towel wrapped around it and hit on that. But just knock it back down so that what'll happen, the tar strips will seal.
I got you. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Why don't they use screws in a roof instead of nails that would not pop back up?
Yeah, I think it's because the screw, like if you think about the way a screw works, when they put it down through the shingle, it's going to make a little bit of a bigger hole. Like, a screw has a wide, narrow, and that wide part is going to make a bigger hole so that it doesn't seal quite as good when it you know what I mean? Like When a nail comes down and the head gets right on it, then the hole is never wider and nails seal a little bit better for water. Screws for everything else because they hold better because they have those teeth, but those teeth are not going to seal as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You go inside.
Yeah, and you go inside in the attic and you look, where all those nails are. And so I start as a mostly follically challenged person, I'm always very nervous about getting my head scraped by all those nails in there because I'm in those attics all the time.
I know.
All it takes is once or twice or 10 times, and then you learn.
I've had my head scraped, arm scraped, foot scraped, and then immediately I'm asking my wife, when was that last tetanus shot?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think I've had some rusty metal underneath my skin recently.
Yeah. All right. Well, next we've got the gutters. There, I've noticed that there's some great landscaping in gutters in some of the houses I've looked at recently.
Yeah, some people need to weed eat their gutters. Obviously, if you impede the flow of the water and it overflows, it's just like not having gutters, and you're going to get a lot of water right there beside your foundation. which can, compact the soil and cause it to settle and crack like we were talking about before. So you just gotta, now's a great time. I mean, a lot of people are home. Clean those gutters out. If you don't want to get on your roof, I completely understand. They have a lot of blower attachments that you can do from the ground where a couple of attachments and does a hook. That's a lot safer way to clean it. That's the way I do it.
Yeah, there's companies to do it too.
Oh yeah. Just
It'll
make
do
sure
it.
they're bonded in.
Because
Thing, Preston, I was going to ask you, like,
you look at some roofs and they got leaf residue from the fall in the channels and things like that. That can shorten the roof's life as well if that stuff's left there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The asphalt composition shingles that we have, 99% of us, they're actually not waterproof. They're made to shed the water as long as the water can flow down. But if anything's impeding the flow, you get sticks or something and leaves build up on it, or the gutter builds up and water pools, it will work its way down and leak. So it's made to shed like water on a duck, but it's not made to. If water pools on a shingled roof, it'll leak.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, we have 20 seconds. So the last one was just making sure what your windows and doors
shut properly. Just go around to everyone. We kind of alluded to it before, but you don't want the home inspector putting something on the report that can spook the buyer. Maybe you just haven't opened that window in 8 years and but get it there. And there's some lubricant you can use. Just make sure all your windows go up and down, your doors open and close.
All right. So if they want to do a pre-inspection or have you come out, how do they get you?
Homeinspectioncarolina.com.
Awesome. If you want to talk to us or a copy of my book, Opportunity is Knocking, you can go to pauljamison.com. You can reach us at 846-DONE, 846-3663, or on the web at myjamisonhomes.com. God bless. Have a better day, and hope to see you again next week to show your real estate today. Take care, guys.